Time now for the most listened to talk show in Vegas.
You think we're fighting, and I think we're finally talking.
Talking with those on the right, the left, and everywhere in between.
Quiet. Shut up and let me answer, okay?
Answer.
Pot him down, please, because this is another MAGA who doesn't understand how to have a conversation with somebody.
It's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
I'm kind of a big deal.
This show will make you laugh, make you cry, and it might raise Brian's blood pressure.
You know what, dude? People like you, all you do is make excuses for the orange turd, and I've had it.
All the smash and grabs and everything. Yeah, tell me, what race is doing that, first of all?
Okay, so you want to be a racist now. Okay.
What race is doing it? Seen it on the news?
I don't watch Klan TV like you do, sir.
Buckle up, because it's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
You're different. I like you.
Now, here's Brian.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for joining us. Happy Tuesday, PTL time. Oh, yeah. We got a lot to get to today. Of course, we're on the Occupy Democrats Network, the Washington Press Network, my YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. We're on X. We're on Twitch. We are everywhere. And, of course, the FM AM dial right here locally in Las Vegas. And we appreciate you being a part of the show. The ever-growing, ever so fast audience in PTL Nation. We appreciate you guys. Check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. Great show lined up today. If you haven't had the opportunity, it's a really great documentary brought to you by Rachel Maddow. And it involves this Trump henchman, for lack of a better term, Lev Parnas, and his efforts to create fake controversy surrounding the Biden family. Lev's is been very apologetic. He also was answering questions in the House chambers in front of Congress last year. And it's called From Russia with Lev. Lev Parnas will be joining us coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get into more about this Mark Robinson stuff. He's doubling down and saying that he's not responsible for, any of the statements he's made, which we know he did. We'll get to that in a moment, but I really want to start with this because is this the country that you want to live in? A country where we tell legal immigrants to go back to where they came from. This country was founded on immigrants. Is this the kind of country that you want to live in? Is this the kind of country that we want our kids to live in? Well, Donald Trump held a rally yesterday. And in that rally, so many that show up to his events, to his rallies, in my personal opinion, are bigoted in nature. They're full of hate and stupidity. And I think yesterday is a perfect example of that. So yesterday, at his rally, he's specifically talking about the legal Haitian immigrants that are living in Springfield, Ohio. And J.D. Vance and Trump have doubled down on their lies, claiming that Haitian immigrants that are legal are stealing your pets and eating them. And now we're learning that a law firm is following a class action lawsuit against them because, as you know, we've had a bunch of bomb threats and over 50 threats to that city because of the statements of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, completely unsubstantiated and full of lies. Well, this is Donald Trump, and this is at his campaign event, specifically talking about these Haitian immigrants. He says, send them back, and listen to what he says and then what the crowd is chanting.
With left-wing nonprofits to inundate Pennsylvania communities, changing the character of small towns and villages all over our country and changing them forever. They will never be the same. They will never be. Do you think Springfield will ever be the same? I don't think. The fact is, and I'll say it now, you have to get them the hell out. You have to get them out. I'm sorry. Get them out. Can't have it. Can't have it. They've destroyed it. It's terrible. It's terrible to say, and it's a tough.
Yeah, it is terrible to say. Let me be very clear. Those people at that rally are Klan members, as far as I'm concerned. They're all bigots. They're despicable human beings, and this is Donald Trump's base. And Donald Trump is the guy who pushes this. I despise Donald Trump, and I make no apologies about that. But you know who I despise more? His stupid, uneducated cult followers that are bigoted in nature. Is that the kind of country that you want to live in? Springfield, Ohio will never be the same, he says. Why? Because we have legal Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio. They're not causing the problems there right now. They're not the reasons why we had bomb threats there. They're not the reasons why we've had threats at hospitals, at middle schools, at supermarkets. No, the Haitian immigrants are not the reasons why those threats have happened. The reasons why they have happened is because of you and your cult clan supporters. Think about that. Is that the kind of country that you want to live in? Is that the kind of country that we want? Send them back, his cult clan followers that are all despicable human beings. Make no mistake. If you're one of those people that is chanted, send them back at his Klan rally yesterday, you are a Klan cultist. It's why I call it a Klan cult. Oh, people get so angry at me. What would you call that? He's not even talking about those that are undocumented. That would be bad enough. He's talking about legal Haitian migrants that have come to this country legally. Now, if you don't like the policies of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in legalizing these people, then that's a separate conversation. But the fact of the matter is, the law says they're legal. And Donald Trump is saying, get them the hell out. We've heard this rhetoric over and over again. I don't always defend members of the squad. Remember he told them to go back to their S-hole countries? Do you remember that statement that he made? Because Trump's cult of followers enjoy this sort of hateful, bigoted rhetoric. And if he wins in November, we're going to hear 4 more years of it. It divides the country. It's dangerous. What would happen if a Haitian immigrant, an innocent person minding their own business, was the victim of a hate crime in Springfield, Ohio? Who would we blame for that? Obviously, we would blame the person who committed the horrible crime. Who else would we blame? Who else would we blame? I would blame Donald Trump. I would blame J.D. Vance. And I would blame anybody else who continues to spout this hateful rhetoric. The former president of the United States on a stage yesterday saying, get them the hell out. Well, let me be very clear on my opinions on who should get the hell out. MAGA racist buffoons. Go move to Afghanistan and live in a cave for all I'm concerned. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and quite frankly, any of the hateful, bigoted Republicans in office today, I'd like them to move to Gaza. I'd like them to move to Russia, especially those that are pro-Putin. And we know many in Donald Trump's orbit want Russia to win, including Donald Trump. I want them to get the hell out. What makes this country great, in my opinion, is the diversity. What makes this country great, in my opinion, is we have people from all over the world, many of them, who just want a better life for themselves and a better life for their family. Doesn't mean I condone anybody committing a violent act. Doesn't mean I would condone somebody coming into this country illegally, but that's not what we're talking about today. That's not what Donald Trump was talking about yesterday. He was specifically talking about Springfield, Ohio. He was specifically talking about legal Haitian migrants coming to this country. And I've had wonderful people, some of my wonderful listeners that have called into this show, if you've been listening over the course of the last several weeks, from Springfield, Ohio. They've called into the show. And they don't say that the Haitian migrants are the problem there. They say the hateful rhetoric being put forth by Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and those of the far right. Those are what are terrorizing that community. We've heard from the city manager. We've heard from the Republican mayor. We've heard from the Republican governor. We've heard from police and the police chief that there are no credible stories with any sense of credibility at all that any of these conspiracy theories about Haitian migrants stealing your pets and eating them are true. They are completely debunked, and it is false. But yet they haven't retracted anything that they've said, similar to going back to 2020 when Donald Trump lost. He still hasn't gone back and said he lost the election. Is this the country that you want to live in? where you go to a political rally and you hear, send them back? Is that the country that you want your kids to live in? Is that the guy that you want to be the leader of the free world? Is that what you want? It's not what I want. It's not the country that I want to live in. I want to live in a country where we welcome people of all shapes and sizes. We welcome people of all different ethnicities. We welcome all sorts of different people. Sure, in a perfect world, I would love for everybody to come to this country legally. But again, that's not the topic of conversation right now. We're not talking about those that are undocumented. We are talking about legal Haitian migrants at Donald Trump's rally yesterday, telling them to, quote, get the hell out. His base of racist bigots and uneducated, mostly middle-aged white people saying, send them back. Again, I go back to what I said earlier. This is Donald Trump's base. I'm not saying every Donald Trump supporter is bigoted in nature. I'm not saying every Donald Trump supporter is racist. But a lot of those people that were at the rally yesterday certainly were. Think about how much hate you must have in your heart. Think about that you would chant out, send them back. A normal human being with empathy would say, boy, I feel bad for those Haitian migrants out there in Springfield, Ohio. I hope they're okay because they seem like good, decent people. They're there legally. And now they have to deal with all this hateful rhetoric that could incite violence. A normal person would feel for these people. A normal person would want this hateful rhetoric to stop. Not Donald Trump, not J.D. Vance, and not his base of white supporters. No, they double down. The hatred continues. And it will continue until November, and if elected, he will continue it for the next 4 years. I guarantee you, this is who Donald Trump is. We know who he is. He uses scare tactics. He uses fear-mongering. And meanwhile, while all this stuff is going on, you have Mark Robinson, who's also doubling down, saying that he's the victim here, and he's not bowing out of the race. That's right. The North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Robinson has rejected multiple offers from supporters to connect him with information technology specialists to help the Republican gubernatorial nominee investigate racist and lewd comments on a pornographic website made by someone with the username that CNN has confirmed tied to Robinson. But why would Mark Robinson deny those efforts? If somebody made claims about you that were not true, obviously these claims are true, the first thing you'd want to do is get connected with people who can prove that it wasn't you. He doesn't want that to happen. Why? Because it's him. And he wants to blame the media. He wants to take a page from the MAGA playbook, blame the media for everything. He's going to file a lawsuit against CNN. I guarantee you he won't do that. And if he does, he will lose because it can be proven that this is him. So he didn't really hold a press conference yesterday, Mr. Robinson, the black Nazi, which is what I will always refer to him as. But he was asked a few questions in a media scrum yesterday. It didn't last very long. And he had maybe 12 supporters there. Again, more bigots that are, I'm sure, Donald Trump supporters as well. He was asked by a member of the media about literally half his staff that have stepped down because of this scandal. Here's what he had to say about that.
We have full confidence that we can go on. We're getting resumes from all over. We're getting offers from all over. People are jumping in to help us. We've made a ton of friends in this thing since we've been in. A lot of talented people right now are reaching out to us, and we're right in the process right now of forming a team that we know can still lead us to victory. So we have full confidence in our ability to keep going.
Yeah, I'm sure. The reason why most of your staff has left because they know it's true. They know you're a bigot, a proud black Nazi, attacking women, saying keep your skirt down in regards to abortion. A man who has attacked the transgender community, constantly attacks the LGBTQ community, yet apparently likes trans porn, which, by the way, I wouldn't have a problem with unless you're the kind of person like Mark Robinson who attacks these people on a regular basis. Many of these statements he has made way before Donald Trump endorsed him. They knew about these statements. Again, this is Donald Trump's base. And I'm sure, yeah, he has tons of people reaching out to him. Maybe a bunch of Nazis that want to work in his campaign, I would imagine. And this is the point where he takes a page from the Donald Trump playbook. Because you see, when anybody, whether it be CNN or any media entity, holds a politician's feet to the fire, what do? They go on the offensive and they try to attack. Anybody with a brain knows that this is true. Anybody with a brain understands that CNN's reporting is factually accurate. If it wasn't accurate, they could be involved maybe in a Dominion $800 million lawsuit, but they aren't. They're true. And Robinson doesn't want people to look into this. He doesn't want experts to find out if somebody hacked him because he's responsible. And I'll give you an example from the left. In fact, I reached out to this guy this morning, Anthony Weiner. And listen, Weiner paid the price. But do you remember back in the day when Weiner was challenged on a username that he had online and sexting he was having with a bunch of different women? Do you remember that scandal? And then when he was challenged on it by the media, he made excuses. And then when people were like, well, why aren't you calling the FBI? Why aren't you calling the police if somebody hacked your account? He didn't contact the authorities. That was a red flag that it was true. Now, Weiner has admitted to the lies. He spent time, in a correctional facility, and he got rehabilitated, all that stuff. He paid the price, and he's owned his mistakes. Mark Robinson hasn't even owned anything. He's been caught red-handed, calling himself a black Nazi and other disgusting comments, and he's claiming that it's all a lie, that CNN is just attacking him. So this is Mark Robinson yesterday saying that he's going to file a civil suit against CNN, and it's laughable. Have a listen to this.
Lieutenant Governor Robinson, you've talked about the reporting being salacious lies, not true. Have you taken steps then to prove it's not you?
We absolutely are. We absolutely are. We're in talks right now, everything up to legal counsel to take CNN to task for what they have done to us. We are going after them. Okay, we are going to go after them for what they've done. But we have 5 weeks left of this race, folks. Make no mistake about it. We are not going to let CNN throw us off of our mission. Our mission is to win this race.
Yeah! Listen to those idiots behind him. First of all, he says they're in talks. Yeah, I wonder how those talks are going. They're in talks. What a liar. Mark Robinson is a bigot, racist, anti-Semitic, Holocaust-denying liar. Right up Donald Trump's base, ladies and gentlemen. How about those guys in the background? Yeah! Those same Mark Robinson supporters are the same people that were chanting, send them back. Same kinds of people. Uneducated, middle-aged white people that are extremely ignorant and bigoted and have hate in their hearts. If you're still standing by Mark Robinson, like Donald Trump, then chances are you're a bigot. You're probably a racist. Make America great again. Make America white again. He says they're in talks to take legal action. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what's going on. This guy knows he was caught. He knows. Great job reporting by CNN. He knows he was caught. But if anybody had any moral clarity at all, and any bit of respect, after they were caught, they would step aside. These are the types of people that Republicans endorse. These are the types of people. It's sickening. It's disheartening. But it's par for the course. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not surprised. Think about this for a moment. You have all these statements that this guy has said. By the way, forget about even the black Nazi statement. Forget about the CNN reporting. Look at all the statements that this guy has made on the record. Blaming women for getting pregnant, saying they need to, keep their skirts down. Statements about the Holocaust. He's a Holocaust denier. This guy has made despicable statements over and over and over again. But yet the Republican Party in North Carolina is still standing by him. Can you imagine if Democrats did this? Can you imagine if there was a Democrat in office, or if there was a Democrat that was running for office that said they were a white supremacist? And the Democrat Party stood by this person? What would Republicans say about that? But, if Donald Trump does it, everything's okay. It's sickening. And this is the moment, again, another page from the Donald Trump playbook, where Mark Robinson starts attacking the media. When a member of the media asked him a very reasonable question, and then he starts attacking the media, and this is all his fault. These are statements that he has made. But again, a playbook from MAGA bigoted right-wing Republicans that want to blame the media for their actions. Listen to this exchange.
In order to put the people first, We've got to concentrate on this campaign. And that's exactly what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do. Thank you. No more questions. No more questions. Hold on a second. No more questions. Because you're from Greensboro, and in Greensboro, when I made history as the first black lieutenant governor of North Carolina, you did not knock on my door. Don't knock on it now.
Absolutely and positively ridiculous. But again, it's a page from the Donald Trump MAGA playbook. And it's disgusting. We'll open up the phone lines and take some phone calls on this now. 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation. Lev Parnas is going to be joining us here in about 15 minutes or so. But we're talking about a couple different topics today. Obviously, we're talking about Donald Trump's rally yesterday, get them the hell out, and then the chant by the bigoted crowd, send them back, which is absolutely disgusting. We're talking about that, and we're also talking about Mark Robinson. Yes, that's right. Mark Robinson doubling down, saying he didn't make any of these statements, and the Republican Party in North Carolina standing by their man. That's right. Mark Robinson denying everything, going on the offensive, saying he's going to file a suit against CNN. They're in talks, he says. They're in talks. It's just unbelievably ridiculous. It's despicable. Coming up a little bit later in the show, speaking of despicable, Janet Jackson doubling down on her statements when it comes to Kamala Harris, questioning, not even questioning, saying she's not black, that her father is white. By the way, we found out the reason why Janet Jackson is doing this, and I'll have the audio to prove it for you coming up in hour number 2. We'll talk about that. But right now, the number to call, 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Let's start off with Maureen. Maureen is first up on PTL. Hi, Maureen. What's going on?
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good.
I'm from New Jersey, and we know Donald Trump very well from years ago. And he's despicable.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. What do you make of his clan cult followers chanting, send them back yesterday at his rally, talking about legal Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, chanting, send them back? What do you make of that?
Disgusting. They ought to round all those people up and send them someplace.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I can't believe the country that we're living in now, where there is one person is too many, but too large of a percentage of people that seem to think that it's okay to tell legal migrants to get the hell out. Those are Donald Trump's words yesterday. That's what he said. And yet people think that's okay. In fact, even worse, they're the ones chanting, send them back. I'm amazed that this is the country that I am living in now, that people think this way.
You know, I'm 75, and I've seen a lot over the years. And Republicans and Democrats back in the day used to agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. And now, even Congress, it's very upsetting. And we live in a third world country, it seems, and Donald Trump wants it like this.
Yeah, I tend to think that you're right. I say this all the time, and I'll say it again, my dear, and I appreciate your phone call, by the way. Make America great again means make America white again. Make no mistake about it. That's exactly what that slogan means. And anyone who tells you differently either is completely unaware, they have the blinders on, they're complicit, or they know exactly what it means, but they're just not willing to admit it to you. That's exactly what make America great again means. It doesn't mean a better economy. It doesn't mean freedom. It doesn't mean any of those things that they claim. What it means is make America white again. These MAGA supporters do not want brown people in this country. They'll say, well, we just want everybody to come into this country legally. No, that's a lie. You want everybody to look like you. You don't want to be the minority in this country. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Carrie. Carrie is next up on PTL. Hey, Carrie, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. Carrie from North Carolina. Love your show.
Thank you. Oh, my God. Thank you, Carrie. Wow, in North Carolina. What do you make of this Mark Robinson nut job?
Well, North Carolina is kind of crazy because we tend to vote Democrat governors in office, but yet we're still a red state. So
yeah,
I don't think he's going to win.
I don't think so either. But what does it say about the Republican Party there, particularly in North Carolina, standing by their man. I mean, I'm
That's
mesmerized.
disgusting. It's
Yeah.
disgusting. The GOP here is just deplorable.
I mean, I would expect Donald Trump will stand by him, but I'm shocked that the Republican Party, I guess I shouldn't be shocked, in North Carolina. And he holds this event, Carrie, right, yesterday, and it seems like there were like 10 people there that were supporting him. And I'm just amazed that the Republican Party as a whole has no moral compass at all, particularly there in North Carolina. That's got to bother people like you.
We have a lot of racist Southern Baptist deep-stated people here.
Yeah. No question
Which
about
makes
that.
it. Oh yeah, it's you know.
Can I ask
it's
you a
really
question,
hard
Carrie?
here.
Is that part of
Yeah.
how does this guy become the lieutenant governor? I mean,
I have no idea because Roy Cooper is such a amazing governor.
you know, I
And
appreciated the
someone like-
fact that he came out and he said, listen, these stories are not true in Springfield, Ohio, or, I'm sorry, that's a different state. I apologize. I was thinking of the governor in Ohio, but I'm amazed at the fact that the Republican leadership there, is so, I guess, lack of a backbone. I don't even know what other word I would use to describe that.
They're just as bad as him, Brian.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is. You're
It's
right.
disgusting.
Well, like you said, he's probably not going to win. If he wins, that would be a travesty, right? Right, Carrie? But let's hope.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's hope. I don't think he was going to win, even regardless of the CNN reporting. I don't think he was going to win anyway, Carrie.
Mm-mm.
But when he does
No.
lose, I want you to call me back and we'll celebrate, okay?
And I love your shirt today, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. Thank you, Carrie. It's good to hear from you. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate you out there in North Carolina. I love that. I love that North Carolina accent, too. I love it. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Charles. Charles is next up on PTL. Hey, Charles, what's going on?
Brian, you're becoming quite the ladies' man. Congratulations.
I don't know about that, but, if Melania gives me a call, I'll tell her I want one of her $40,000 handbags for a date.
There you go. Hey,
Yeah.
I just wanted to go over what you were covering. And so let's talk about the blatant hypocrisy. So in June, Mar-a-Lago tried to hire 380 foreign workers because they couldn't get people in the United States to work there. And it was probably because of the wages.
Right.
And just in your tradition, reported in Newsweek, Forbes, and BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
So, that just it's emblematic of every time they get together. I will also tell you, I'm in the real estate business, that after the last hurricane hit South Florida, the poor people in Fort Myers Beach had to fester because the governor had chased all of the qualified craftspeople in the construction business out of the state by threatening to arrest them all.
But, the interesting thing about it is that if you talk to MAGA Republicans out there, they won't talk about any of these issues. They'll just talk about fracking and how Kamala Harris allegedly flip-flopped on fracking. But they won't talk about any of these other issues that you're bringing up. They won't talk about gun control. They won't talk about how the Republican Party stands by a liable rapist and 34-count felon. They won't talk about health care. They certainly won't be talking about a replacement plan or, concepts of a plan, but they won't be talking about the real issues like, abortion, for example, that the American people are facing. They'll blame Joe Biden for inflation, yet every other G7 country that we compare ourselves to, our economy is doing better. So if anything, when it comes to inflation, people should be congratulating the Biden administration, but instead they're going to blame the Biden administration. These people are some of the dumbest people that America has to offer. They're uneducated, and these Republican politicians are so dangerous. They know that Joe Biden didn't create the inflation. They know that this administration has done a good job. They know that they can run on their record, but they lie and they spew hatred and bigotry, and that's why you have large crowds at these Trump rallies that are chanting, "Send them back."
No, and what's really ironic, just in the rallies in general, every time I watch one, and look, I work 3 different jobs. I'm going, who are these people that have the free time to just drop their life, go wait in line for hours to hear him cry baby and boohoo? Do they not have jobs? They must all be on either disability or some kind of federal assistance. It's just a phenomenon that strikes me as odd that they have all this free time, because I do not. I work for a living like you.
And God bless you. You're a hardworking American. I love to hear from people like you. But the people that complain about the economy, I'm talking about the MAGA supporters out there, the maggots, as I like to call them, who talk about how inflation and gas prices, usually in Donald Trump's base, these are people that are unemployed, that are on governmental assistance, thanks to the Biden administration, yet they support Donald Trump and they have no problem buying $600 gold sneakers or Trump Bibles for $70. I appreciate the call, my man, and I'm glad there are people like you out there, hardworking Americans that see the truth and can separate fact from fiction. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Karen. Karen is next up on PTL. What's up, Karen?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I love your show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in Florida. Of course, we're hoping to give this to VP Harris. Working hard at it.
Yeah.
I've got 2 Trump flags that I have to look at every day. But hey, I've got my support out for her.
Good.
Yeah, it's really bad. The things that Trump has said, it's just downright disgusting that so many people who still listen to that.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you don't believe in what he's saying, then you shouldn't be supporting it. Because, like I said, if you lay down with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you're walking with him, then you are him.
So I agree with you. And I think it comes down to this, the people out there that'll make excuses for his behavior and say, well, I don't like the person, but I like his policies. No, that doesn't fly with me anymore. They said it back in 2020. First of all, he doesn't have any policies. And it's so interesting to me, right? When the MAGA Republicans out there on CNN or wherever they are, Fox News, I don't know where she stands on anything. Oh, really? Well, we know where she stands on guns. She's already talked about an assault weapons ban. We know exactly where she stands on the abortion issue. Okay, those are 2 pretty big issues. She's talked about that and bringing back Roe. So we know where she stands on those 2 issues. We know where she stands on the border. She wants to bring Republicans back to the bargaining table and bring back that border bill. We know where she stands on health care. We know where she stands on pretty much every top 10 issue facing this country. But yet MAGA Republicans will say, I don't know where she stands on the issues. What the hell has Donald Trump said in the last year about anything, about what he's going to do in the future, except maybe deporting everybody? What else has he said? Has he been specific?
Sharks and batteries and drowning.
You're right. You're right about that. He's been very specific on electrocuting sharks and Hannibal Lecter. Give me one specific policy. He says tax on tips. Okay, well, what does that mean? Somebody making $300,000 a year on tips isn't going to be taxed on that, but some guy making $8 or $9 an hour at McDonald's is going to be taxed. He hasn't gone into any specifics on his tax on tips. By the way, Kamala Harris has. I get so frustrated with these MAGA. Every day it's something new with them. First, she slept.
I think people are confused.
Yeah.
When they hear that, the first thing you hear is no tax on this, or you want to worry about paying taxes on overtime pay. They don't realize you're still going to be paying tax on it because that's your Social Security. That's your retirement.
Right.
It's like the things that people think are going to be easy, they don't listen. I hate it when they just don't listen.
Yeah, I agree. And that's, I think, the biggest problem in society today. They don't listen, and if they are listening, they're brainwashed from Fox News and Jesse Waters and Sean Hannity and OAN. Thank you so much for calling out of Florida.
Thank you for letting me call in.
Absolutely. Hopefully one day you can mail me some oranges out there from Florida. Thank you so much. Mail me those Ron DeSantis white boots. They look very sexy on him, by the way. Thank you for the call. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Jennifer. Jennifer is next on PTL. What's up, Jennifer?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me up. My name's Jennifer. I'm a trauma ICU nurse in California. I am voting for Harris, and I'm a very proud Jewish American, and the things that Donald Trump has said recently about Jews has been extremely insulting. But what has been more insulting is the interview he gave with Cheryl Atkinson the other day, saying that he's going to assign undocumented immigrant serial numbers. That was a little bit scary and reminded me of somebody in history that need not repeat his name.
Yeah.
And I think that if people hear that and, think that this is something that he's actually going to do, they really need to review history, because those that don't remember history are doomed to repeat it.
No question. I agree with you. And he wants to lead people to believe that he has nothing to do with Project 2025 when he has literally employees right underneath him that he's hired that are creators of Project 2025. Think about this for a moment. 2 moments on the debate stage and I want to get your thoughts on this. First of all, when he was asked point blank, do you want Ukraine to win the war? He wouldn't answer that question. He was asked point blank, if he had a national abortion ban bill on his desk, would he be for or against it? Wouldn't answer that either. And yet Republicans out there want to say Harris isn't being specific. I mean, it's just, it's incredible. You have an evil, murderous dictator in Vladimir Putin who has invaded a country, killing how many innocent people? It's horrible. And Donald Trump can't even say to the American people, we want Ukraine to win. That doesn't mean you have to agree with all the policies in this country, with what we're doing with Ukraine. He can't even say to the camera, I want Ukraine to win, because he is a Vladimir Putin puppet. You know, that he's a Vladimir Putin puppet. He writes love letters to Kim Jong-un. He says he was tough on China when they created one of the most devastating viruses in the history of the world. And yet, when you talk to MAGA Republicans about these issues, they either are unable to understand or they don't want to listen to you, right? It's one or the other.
Yeah, it's totally willful ignorance. And there's a couple of things that I just want to say, because I know you need to move on to the next person. If anybody wants to research how Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are part of Project 2025, I need you to go watch the keynote speech that Donald Trump gave at Project 2025 Summit on Leadership in 2022 and 2023. And then I need you to go watch the speech that J.D. Vance gave in 2023 in a speech at this leadership. And then also one more thing, and then I'll go. I'm a military mom. My son is enlisted military. And I just want you to know that when you say make America great again, you fail to identify those that are going to be first to make America great again, right?
Yeah.
So while you guys think that you're going to elect Donald Trump and he's going to give up land to Putin and then Putin will invade Poland, the first people that are going to be in are American troops. You get to sit on your couch thousands and thousands of miles away from what's going on, while moms like myself have to worry about their kids.
Well, I got to
tell you.
tell
If you really want to make America great, think about us and think about families of military that have to watch their kids go to war.
Well, I got to say, you must be a very proud mom, because your son sounds like a hero to me. And because of brave individuals like your son, I'm able to go on the radio every day and do what I do. I will always be eternally grateful for families like yours, and your son is a hero. Please tell him I said so. And I appreciate you.
I will. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for calling in. I love my listeners, and it's a wonderful woman, and sounds like she has a wonderful family. And I hope her son is safe, and he's a hero. 702-221-7283. Where are my MAGA callers out there, huh? Where are my MAGA callers? I don't know. Let's go to Mal. Mal is next up on PTL. Hello, Mal.
Hey, Brian. I'm new to your listenership here. I'm a retired federal intelligence officer.
Wow.
Out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
I'm originally a Bostonian. We threw the tea in the harbor.
Wow. Well, I'm a Boston Celtic fan at heart, so we definitely have that in common. What do you make, sir?
Oh, yeah.
What do you make, sir? I wanted to ask you, get your thoughts out there in New Mexico. The chants at these Trump rallies, send them back. Donald Trump saying, get them the hell out. What do you think of that as an American?
Well, he should start with his own kitchen. I mean, he married Melania, who was Slovakian.
Right.
And I guess if you're going to live to your own credo, and then J.D. Vance, who did he marry?
Very
An
true.
Indian gal.
Very true.
She's a foreigner.
Yep.
I guess they got to be on the list of deportees.
Yeah, right. You know, what does it say about J.D. Vance when you have a Donald Trump invite Laura Loomer? I hate even saying her name because she's so despicable. He invites her to the 9/11 ceremonies. This is the woman who said if Kamala Harris wins, the White House is going to smell like curry. And then when J.D. Vance is asked about that statement, he says, well, it doesn't really matter whether you eat curry or fried chicken. These are people with literally no backbone. They're despicable. How does his wife even stand by him when he makes a statement like that? Here, it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or Democrat, okay? That statement should be, wow, I don't endorse that statement. It was a horrible thing to say. I've had talks with the former president, and we don't want that woman around our campaign, anybody who represents that, because that doesn't represent our beliefs. But you know why J.D. Vance didn't say that? Because it does represent their beliefs. Send them back. Get them the hell out.
Well, you know, most of the people who follow him, Brian, I mean, look at the demographics.
Yeah.
they're mostly poorly educated, and that's a general statement. That doesn't apply to all of them.
Right.
Brainwashing. They've refused to accept the fact that they may or may not have been brainwashed.
Let's be honest.
They lack
Yeah,
critical thinking skills.
Sure.
Critical thinking skills.
Anybody that watches OAN or Newsmax lacks critical thinking skills. There's no doubt about that, my friend. I agree with everything you just said. Again, make no mistake about it. Donald Trump's base are mostly uneducated white people. Some of them bigoted in nature. If you don't believe me, then look at the rally he held yesterday. Send them back. He has no diversity. He won't get 12% of the black vote. It's predominantly white. And then you go to a Kamala Harris rally. I'm happy to say I'm going to another one of her rallies on Sunday. It's full of diversity. You won't hear chants of send them back. I remember at one of her rallies, it was lock him up or something in regards to, and she shut that down. So many fundamental differences between the Republican and Democratic Party. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next up on PTL. Hi, Mark.
Good afternoon, Brian. You were mentioning about this lieutenant governor.
Yes, sir. Mark Robinson.
He had no choice but to cuddle up with Trump, or else he wouldn't have no shot in winning the governorship, which I don't think he has a shot anyway.
I agree. I agree with that. I think that's a good point. Yep.
And also, Trump made it, you agree with this, that Trump made it okay for people to be racist out in the open?
Oh, absolutely. Mark, I talk about that all the time. I agree with you. It's not that there are more racist people in society. It's that Donald Trump has given them a platform to be comfortable in their bigotry. I agree.
Right. Also, I like to mention something I disagree with what the Harris campaign is doing. But I also want to mention two things about what Biden has not done. And one of them was it really hit me hard, even though it's a minor little thing.
Yeah.
When Melania took out Jacqueline Kennedy's rose garden and it wasn't replaced. They left that stupid rock garden that Melania put in.
Right.
I would have, if I was president, I would have ripped that out and redid the rose garden
She's so despicable.
as it was.
She's such a disgusting.
Unbelievable.
She's such a disgusting person. She's no better than him. And now she's got her stupid audio book and she's selling her $90 Christmas ornament. She's
one
despicable.
more thing, Brian.
Yeah.
One more thing, Brian. The thing that I disagree that the Harris campaign is doing now hear me out, that I don't think they should abandon, but they're not winning North Carolina and they're not going to win Florida.
I hope
and
not.
they're dumping so much money in.
I hope not.
No, I'm saying Harris is not going to win it.
Oh, well, I if you're talking about Harris, listen.
I don't believe she's going to win Florida or North Carolina, but they're putting so much money in. Why don't they dump it in where they're having problems like Nevada and Arizona?
Well, I'm going to get somebody from the Harris campaign on the show later in the week, Mark, and it's a valid point, and I promise you I will ask them that question. She's going to be in Las Vegas on Sunday. So, again, we'll have to wait and see. Fair criticism to have. I don't want her to make the same mistakes that Hillary Clinton made campaigning in 2016. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Gloria. Gloria is next up on PTL. Hi, Gloria.
Hi.
Hi, Gloria. What's on your mind today?
Oh, boy. I'm a total political junkie. I'm 65 years old, and I've been watching since my first vote with Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to get back to where you were talking about the rallies.
Yes.
The rallies are all the same people. They come in, they drive for hours and hours and hours to go to his rallies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you noticed also one of his rallies, and I think it was it not Brooklyn, New York, there was white cowboy hats.
Yeah.
And there was more white people than there were black. So they drove in.
Absolutely. So I've been to several rallies, right? I went to one a few weeks ago. I agree with your characterization. These are predominantly middle-aged white people, many of them who are uneducated, have no college,
where I gotta go.
they have no ability to, form their own opinion on anything. They just read or listen to something on Newsmax or OAN or whatever Donald Trump says they believe.
That's my brother-in-law.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
My brother-in-law and his brothers. I talked to them for over an hour. Did you know that they didn't even know that Fox News was sued? And I had them look at, honest to God, I'm not kidding. I made them look it up, and they said, "Oh, look at that! They really got sued."
I'm sorry to say this, but your brother-in-law sounds like a dumbass. I'm sorry to say.
Oh my God! And he's brainwashed my sister.
Oh.
I mean, the thing of it is they really don't pay their tunnel vision.
Yeah.
They're living in their own alternative reality.
They are.
And they only believe what Trump says. And he told them, he says, "Don't listen to anybody but me." So that's what my brother-in-law and his brothers do.
Oh,
I mean, they're so brainwashed. It's not funny.
Oh.
Now, the immigrants that were working for Trump, do you know, I'm sure you know, that he paid for their paperwork. He got them Social Security numbers.
Yep.
And there was one employee that was interviewed, and that's how I found out about it back in 2016.
Your brother-in-law is not an insurrectionist, is he? Or does he look like one of those people?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
he's just a lazy,
just a
just
dummy.
sits in his chair, smokes cigarettes, drinks coffee.
Well, listen,
and watches
here's the
OAN.
bottom line. I personally believe that there are more people out there like you, level-headed, intelligent, logical people. And I believe your brother-in-law is outnumbered 2-1. And I believe in November, not only is Kamala Harris going to win the popular vote, but I believe she's going to win the Electoral College because of people like you, my dear. And then your brother-in-law can go cry himself to sleep and pleasure himself to his Donald Trump poster. Thank you for the call. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Programming note, Lev Parnas is going to be joining us in hour number 2, so you're going to want to stick around for that. All right, let's go to Jeff. Jeff is next up on PTL. Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Hello. First of all, I'm a first-time caller.
Well, thank you.
And I've been listening for a while, and I'm sure I speak for many people when I say how grateful I am for your service. So thank you very much.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you for saying that.
Okay. I'm a retired New York City school teacher.
Oh, wow.
And I taught English and Holocaust and human rights education.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was teaching, my kids would ask me how, the eternal question, and I'd ask myself, of course, how could this happen?
Right.
And I gave them all kinds of answers using all kinds of, to use an official word, modalities, presentations. But I was never satisfied with it. It's something that's beyond explanation. And for the first time in my life, I'm no longer teaching. I'm on the inside of the nightmare. So I can see how it can happen. It can happen very quickly.
Well, you know what, sir? The sad part about it is that a lot of these MAGA right-wing turds out there will say that you're indoctrinating kids. You're telling them to be gay. You're telling them to be transgender. These are some of the dumbest people that America has to offer. There are so many wonderful people like you out there that care about educating students, that are great teachers, hundreds of thousands of them in this country. Yet these MAGA Republicans out there will claim that you're indoctrinating our kids and they're somehow coming home a different gender. You can't reason with these people, Jeff. You just can't.
Right. And, since I've been listening to you for well over a month, I've got a million things to talk to you about, but I'm sure you've got other people who want to speak to you. I would just like to talk to one specific point.
Sure.
And in terms of my family, and this is why I'm so unnerved and hurt about what's happening with the Haitians of Ohio.
Yeah.
Very quickly, because I know you have a lot of people. Very quickly, my family lived in a small village in Poland, and the Germans came and they ran into the forests, and they suffered terribly, but they became partisans and they began fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1945, they managed, there were some deaths, but they managed to come back to their village, and they tried to live in Poland. But around Easter, Passover, I don't know if you heard or familiar with the blood libel.
I don't think I'm familiar with that, no.
The blood libel, God, so much to talk about, but the blood libel is that during Easter, the Jews would kidnap a Christian child, slit his throat, and use the blood for. Can you still hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting cold. And it's a horrible tale, but it many thousands of people died as a result of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they would use the blood to make the matzah.
Right.
And as absurd and as horrible as this was and is, and it's still going on in some parts of the world,
Yeah.
It was believed by many, many people. So when
and you're
Trump
you're making the correlation with that, and if I'm not mistaken, to Springfield, Ohio, and I think I understand where you're going with that. And those types of horrible, non-factual stories are very harmful. The rhetoric is very dangerous, Jeff. And I appreciate you coming on and for the first time. You're welcome to call back anytime, my friend. And thank you for your service as a teacher. Love the teachers in this country. So many of you are wonderful people that have a great passion, and yet the far right always seems to attack you wonderful people. You're indoctrinating our kids. You're telling them to be gay. You're telling them to be transgender. It's just the bigotry from the far right. It's almost like it's never ending. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Dennis. Dennis is next up on PTL. What's up, Dennis?
Hey, Brian. I'm Dennis from Colorado. Hey, last week I got a sign that probably will stay in my yard for life. It says, "I'm a veteran, not a sucker or loser."
I love it. I love it. And you're absolutely right. And, the statement that Donald Trump made, which has been confirmed by 2 5-star generals, and then the argument I hear from the far right, oh, there were 19 people in that room that didn't hear it. Well, just because you didn't hear something doesn't mean it's not true. And let me tell you, man, you serve this country, my friend?
Yes.
Wait a second.
All the way
Press
from
the
my
little box.
grandfather
Sorry.
up to it, and he said it's still serving.
Thank you for your service. Let me start out by saying that you're a hero. You're the opposite of a sucker and a loser. You're brave. You're the opposite of Donald Trump. The opposite. So thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, you're talking about Trump coming to Ohio, but he's also saying that he's coming to Aurora, Colorado, for the Venezuela gang members.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't. But what I do know is that the hateful rhetoric that is spread, the hateful rhetoric that is being spread is unconscionable, and it's a danger. Do we have Lev waiting for us? Okay, we do. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be back in 2 minutes. We'll be joined by Lev Parnas. And this From Russia with Lev documentary is pretty touching and emotional. And it was actually Lev and Hunter Biden that shared a hug with one another. I never thought that was going to happen. And it really is incredible. And we'll play some of that audio for you when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Lev Parnas will be joining us. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP. All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Programming note, Don Lemon, the former CNN anchor, will be joining us tomorrow on the show. Boy, do I have a lot of questions for him. That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, you guys might have heard of this new documentary, Rachel Maddow's new documentary, telling the story of the one-time Trump henchman, for lack of a better word, Lev Parnas, and his efforts to create fake controversy for the Biden family in the run-up to the 2020 election. Since then, Lev has testified in front of Congress. He's shown a tremendous amount of remorse. And before we bring him on the show, I want to play you a little bit of footage from this documentary, which I thought was an emotional moment where Lev is sitting with Hunter Biden face to face. And you hear Lev in his voice get emotional and apologize, and then they share a hug. I thought it was a really touching, emotional moment. Have a listen to this.
One thing I've learned is that truth and love always prevail. May take a little while, but the fact of the matter is we get up every day, we do the next right thing, we win. I'm sorry for it. Yeah. Hey, was it big? I'm throwing at you. Listen. We get a second chance. Both of us. That's right. Both of us. Yeah.
It's a really emotional moment there. I got to say, From Russia with Lev is a must-watch. That final scene with Lev and Hunter Biden is really emotional, and it's really incredible. And he's nice enough to join us right now on the show. He's been on the show before. Always love talking with him. Lev Parnas joining us right now. Lev, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Brian. I'm doing wonderful. My pleasure is mine. I love to be here with the audience. I'm actually in Washington, D.C. right now. We have our last premiere today in Washington, D.C. It's all sold out, so excited. We have a nice panel also. Me and Rachel are going to be doing a panel after the showing today. So anybody in D.C., come on out, come and join us.
Very cool. I'm happy to hear that, Lev, and I appreciate you and your honesty. I want to ask you this. When you learned that you were going to be sitting face-to-face with Hunter Biden, what went through your mind, and what went through your mind the second you met him and you spoke with him?
Well, when I first learned that that he accepted to meet with me and accepted to, I didn't know what to expect. I was very nervous because you have to understand, I'm the root of all his evil. The things that we ginned up and the propaganda that we push started all of this man's problems. He was not somebody that was running for president. He was not running for any political office. He was just a target, a son of a sitting president that we used. Over the years, I started realizing, because I'm a father and I'm a son, and I started realizing how painful the humanity of it was, because I never looked at him as a human. I looked at him as a mark. We looked at him as just somewhere, and so I didn't know what to expect. I'll tell you honest, Brian. And to have him embrace me the way he did, to have him forgive me, to have him say those words, I could tell you, I don't want to talk too much about it because I think it's at the right time. Hunter, you'll hear it in his own words, and I'll leave that story for him one day or for us to both discuss. But I could tell you it was just something I'll never forget. And even to now, like when you play it, I get emotional because to see the strength in a person that is still looking at right now. I mean, he's looking to be sentenced, over 10 years in prison for things that I brought upon him. And to put that aside and to be able to forgive me, I think that's one of the most powerful messages of this movie, about forgiveness, about unity, about being able to, because after November 5th, guys, we're going to have to get our country back. We're going to have to end this division. So I think that was just powerful.
Very powerful moment when I saw that scene when you were speaking with him and you got emotional. This might be a difficult question, but I mean, do you feel like Joe Biden should pardon Hunter?
In my opinion, absolutely. I mean, it would be a travesty if he didn't, because what Hunter did, what people don't understand, is Hunter took a lot of heat because Joe Biden was president, because he couldn't talk, he couldn't have a voice. He had to sit there and take the abuse that we were pushing, the propaganda, the lies, because otherwise it would be too much of a deal because his father was president. So Hunter actually took one for the team, yes, you could say it. We couldn't get to Joe, so we went after Hunter. So I definitely think that especially for the charges that they ended up charging him with, that gun charge and, the tax charge, which we know most Americans would never get charged with if his name wasn't Hunter Biden.
Correct.
So,
Correct. I agree. Lev, what was it like, Lev, off camera? I mean, I don't know how much time you spent around Hunter, but obviously we see on camera, both of you seem to be very genuine, and it was very special to watch. But off camera, like, did he say anything to you off camera that you would like to share with us? What was he like off camera?
I mean, I'll leave most of the story when he's ready to come out with it. But one thing I definitely would like to share with you guys is you're going to get to know the real Hunter Biden. What you saw at the ending, the slip, you got a little taste of who Hunter Biden is, because for the past 4 years or maybe even 8 years, I don't know how long it's been, all you've heard is all these rotten, nasty things about Hunter Biden that we pushed and we put in the media, and people have a perception of him. But who Hunter Biden is, he's a Yale graduate, he's a lawyer, he's a very intelligent man. He has a father, he is a father, has a wife, a family, kids, and he's very intelligent. And he's, so I think when you hear Hunter come out and really speak and talk about what really happened and the truth, I think the country's going to get amazed. And I hope, and I'm actually very happy that we were able to capture this on camera, because that's really the first time in how many years that the country's got to hear Hunter Biden's voice.
Yeah, that's also a very good point. What has it been like getting to know and working with Rachel Maddow?
Oh, she's amazing. I mean, you gotta understand, me and Rachel go back a long way. My very first interview I did with her, and there's a little I'll give you the background story to it. So when I was in Trump world, Rachel Maddow was our enemy, number one. And because she was the smartest and most diligent journalist out there, and she really knew her stuff. So you wouldn't even be able to watch Rachel Maddow in my house. Like, if I came in and there was MSNBC, it would be cut off. And when it was time for me, when I would decide to do that first interview 5 years ago, it was down to either Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper. So I called my wife. I said, babe, who do I go do the interview with? And she said, are you kidding me? Of course, Rachel Maddow's, because they're going to hate Rachel Maddow's envy. And so that was the first interview we did. And I tell you, when I got to meet her, because I saw her on TV, but when I got to meet her and really understand how intelligent and how she knew what was going on, I was so happy that I chose to do the interview with her. And then to find out, like, I haven't seen her in 4 years, when Billy called me up and said Rachel has jumped on this project to be the executive producer and took this on as her first project, as her baby, I can't even tell you how joyous I was, because if I had a choice, it would have been her. And I couldn't even imagine, the way God put all of this together. So cool. She's great. Yeah, she's great.
That's so nice to hear. I want to use a little sports analogy, maybe, and you could tell me whether you agree or not, to compare your situation. Like, when you see somebody in a basketball game, they have to make 2 free throws to win a game for their team, and they choke. They say they never really truly get over it until they're put back in that situation, and then they make those free throws. Would you say in your situation it's similar in a sense that you felt a lot of guilt, of course, for what you did, and then you finally get to meet Hunter Biden and you get that apology accepted, he hugs you. Do you feel the same as you would with that sports analogy, where you got that weight lifted off your shoulders? Is that fair to say?
I think it's even bigger than that, but I agree with you. If we were going to go sports, that's a perfect analogy. But in sports, there's still, another day in life, and it's a lot bigger than that. So I'll tell you, I can't even rate it because, like, I never dreamed of that ever happening, and that's why you see me in the movie. When that shot was taken about me saying one day I want to apologize to Hunter Biden, that was several years ago. That was never even in the plans. And like Rachel said, there was a different ending to the story, to the movie that they were coming out. And literally 2 weeks before the movie, they had to give the final cut in. I called them up and said, I'm going to go see Hunter. And they never believed me. Rachel didn't even put it on her calendar. She said, "Oh, right. And I want a pony. You're going to go see Hunter. He's going to punch you in the face."
So Rachel didn't believe you. She didn't believe you when you said you were going to go see him.
Yeah, nobody. Wow. They didn't believe me until literally 30 minutes before we met, when Secret Service called and said, it's good. You guys can come in.
Wow. That's
really called me and said, "This is really happening." I said, "Yeah, I know. I told you." And it was like,
and that what a man he is to be able to even do that. And I'm glad that went as well as it did for both of you, quite frankly. Moving forward now, since you testified in front of Congress, we've talked about this before. Have you had any threats? Have you had any interaction from anybody around Donald Trump's orbit?
I'll tell you, after I testified in Congress, yes, there was a lot of especially social media. We had some also people that reached out to me personally through the telephone, which we had to contact the authorities. But I'll tell you, after the movie came out, the most fascinating thing, it's been so positive, and it's been so positive not just from every side, from the left, from the right. I mean, and the crazy part, Brian, what I want everybody to know is the deafening silence from Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and all of these people that were in the movie. Nothing, not a response. It's been 72 hours and it's been crickets. And I've been hearing there's reports out that the GOP is up in arms trying to figure out how to respond to this fallout. And basically, Trump's team is saying divert, reflect, deflect, and basically we'll change the news cycle. So,
Lev, does
I
it bother
think,
you?
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, does it bother you, Lev, that the Rudy Giulianis of the world and Donald Trump and those people have never, been convicted? They're not behind bars. You had to pay for what you did. And a guy like Rudy Giuliani, even though he's filed for bankruptcy and we know he's a ruined man, he's never had to go to jail. He's still never really had to pay the price for what he did. Does that bother you at all?
What bothers me more, I don't wish jail on anybody because jail is inhumane. And, I think Rudy is paying a price, will pay a price. And I think, the final years of his life, he's going to continue paying a price for everything he did. And I truly believe he will end up in jail. But I don't wish it upon anybody because it's inhumane. What I'm more upset with and more is that the way they hid the truth from the American public, because by hiding the truth, by denying it, it allowed so many more bad things to happen in our history. I mean, just think about it. If those senators in the GOP had a backbone, if the DOJ had somebody in there strong enough to stand up to Bill Barr, and if they would have allowed me to testify in the first impeachment, we would have never had January 6th. We would have never had all these problems that we're dealing with today. So just think about the chain of events that has been going on, and that's the frustration. The frustration is knowing that I had the evidence to be able to stop it, but because I was dealing with such high forces, it was impossible. And that's why I'm blessed that now it's coming out and it's finally getting validated, and at the most crucial time before our elections.
Lev, if you had the opportunity and you were in a room right now with Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani in private, I'm curious, what would you say to them, if anything?
I said, what do you think about the movie, boys?
What do you think they would say?
I think that Rudy's scared to go Mar-a-Lago because there's a bottle of ketchup that go towards his head.
You're probably right. There'd be ketchup being thrown everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, Lev, I'm really happy for you. I'm happy that you had that opportunity to have that moment with Hunter Biden. I think that's really important to move forward. You're a good guy. We're all not perfect, but as Hunter Biden said, we all deserve a second chance. You got it. And there's a lot of people, including myself, that are very proud of you for speaking truth and honesty. What you have done is not an easy thing to do. And history will be on your side. And let's hope Trump never sees the White House again. But Lev, love to have you on again, maybe before the elections. I know you're a busy guy. Good luck tonight with that premiere with Rachel Maddow, and job well done, my friend. I appreciate you coming on, and have fun out there in DC. Okay.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you for having me. And the one message I'd like to leave with the whole audience is the next 40 days. It's very important. It's the most important elections. I am his kryptonite. Remember that. So don't let them change the news cycle. Let them get that movie out, get the book out, get the word out. I'll be on all of the swing states. I promise you, we're going to do everything possible for him not to win. And thank you for all the support, Brian.
Thank you, Lev. Keep up the great work, my friend. Appreciate you. That's Lev Parnas, everybody. Great documentary. Rachel Maddow, of course, was a huge part of. Lev is a great guy, and he's made his mistakes. He's paid for his mistakes. But if you haven't had the opportunity to even see excerpts of this documentary, in the final scene of the documentary, it is Lev Parnas sitting there right across from Hunter Biden having a really good conversation. And Lev, obviously very apologetic. And then there's a point in the interview where Lev starts to break down and cry. And we played that audio for you where he says how sorry he is. And it's coming from the heart. You can see how genuine he is. And then I think this is where Hunter gets it from his dad, that empathy. You can see Hunter. This is a guy facing, as Lev said, up to 10 years in jail, right? And Hunter gives him a hug and says, you're a hero for coming with the truth, gives him a hug and says, we both have a second chance. And it's just a really raw, emotional moment that we don't see a lot on TV these days. And I give Lev all the credit in the world for doing that. And I give Hunter credit as well. All right. So why don't we take some calls now? 702-221-7283. Wow, that was an interesting interview with Lev Parnas. He's in Washington, D.C. today, as you saw. Another movie premiere where he's holding it in Washington, D.C. alongside Rachel Maddow. And I appreciate him taking the time at his hotel today to speak with me. That was great. What are your thoughts on that? You know, we're a very forgiving nation, right? When you apologize and you admit that you were wrong, I certainly forgive Lev Parnas, and in fact, I give him a ton of credit for speaking truth and being honest and talking in front of Congress and speaking with Hunter Biden face to face. I give that man a ton of credit. He made some mistakes. He tried to dish some dirt, Russian propaganda on the Bidens, which was a bad thing to do. He's paid the price for it. But boy, do I have the utmost respect for him now and what he's doing. And make no mistake about it, if Donald Trump never sees the White House again, Lev Parnas will be a part of that. We all are a part of it, right, at the voter box, but Lev is a big part of it. Your thoughts on that interview? We'll take some phone calls now, 702-221-7283. But before we take calls, my producer is telling me I need to take a quick break. Before I do that, a reminder, I get emails from people every day. Brian, I love your show. We get calls every day, new listeners. Brian, I love your show. What can I do to help? Well, the first thing you can do is check out our new website, which is pushingthelimits.live. We're very proud of it. It's pushingthelimits.live. Second thing you can do, besides looking around and signing up for the free newsletter, is check out the merchandise. We sell hats. We sell shirts. We sell Don't Be a Right-Wing Buffoon shirts. We sell beanies. We sell everything up there, reasonable priced. But if you don't want to buy merchandise, that's okay. Right on the front page, there's a button there where it says donate. It doesn't matter what it is, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can afford. We appreciate so much. The donate button right on the front page there, pushingthelimits.live. I was also at Jackson's Bar and Grill yesterday, which is the official gaming bar of the Pushing the Limits radio show. Played some slots out there, had a great lunch. I'm telling you, you won't find a better lunch and a better place to, put in a few bucks, have some fun, relax, great bartenders, great atmosphere, and a great place to watch Vegas Golden Knights games, by the way. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Now I'm being told we can go straight to the calls, so we will do that. I don't want to make people wait any longer, my loyal listeners. Why don't we go to Tony? Tony is next up here on Pushing the Limits. Hi, Tony. Where are you calling from?
Fresno City, California.
Well, thank you, Tony. What's on your mind today?
Well, I'm just rooting for Harrison Walz, and I'm not a Trumper, as you can tell.
Well, I can appreciate that. I'm not either, as you can tell.
I wore an anti-Trump hoodie, by the way.
Yeah, my vote was an anti-Trump vote in 2020. Not that I have anything against Joe Biden. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a good, decent man. But I just, and people will say, well, we have Trump derangement syndrome. Let me tell you something. If a Trump supporter says you have Trump derangement syndrome, you can tell them they have Trump fellatio syndrome. So that'll shut them up pretty quickly.
Yeah, one guy wanted to trade me a boat for one of my metal detectors, and come to find out he's a Trumper, and he goes, well, Kamala's, what's the name? I'm trying to think of that name he used.
Well, there's a lot of names that they use to describe Kamala Harris. They say she slept her way to the top.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Communist.
A communist, yeah. Yeah, they use that term all the time. Just like,
No, she's not.
Of course she's not a communist, my friend. But when they lose an argument, they'll call you a pedophile. They'll say Kamala's a communist. I'll say, give me one policy. MAGA supporters out there, give me one policy that would lead you to believe that Kamala Harris is a communist. They say the same thing about Tim Walz. These people are the dumbest people America has to offer, and I'm so glad there are people like you out there, my friend. Thank you for the phone call. Number to call, 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. All right, let's see. Who do we got next here on the PTL radio show? I believe we have Jeff. Jeff is next up on PTL. Hi, Jeff. Where are you calling from, my friend?
Brian, what's going on? I am calling from Portland, Oregon today.
Thank you for calling in, Jeff. What's on your mind today?
Of course. So, Brian, I was in the Bay Area this past weekend, and on Sunday, watching football at Ace's Bar with a buddy, and had the unfortunate opportunity to be approached by and engaged with a maggot who was in self-proclaimed registered independent clothing. Now, I think you know that it doesn't take these guys but 3 minutes for these bozos to out themselves.
Right.
The false equivalencies start flowing right away. There's a failure to acknowledge or even know that the existence of this $787 million judgment for lying to them.
Right.
Or they can't grasp and accept simply that Fox News is in a class by themselves when it comes to dishonest media. They knowingly perpetrate lies to undermine our civil society with the newsertainment business model, which preys on poorly educated, gullible people.
Can I profile this guy real quickly, if you don't mind?
Yes.
Was he white?
No.
Was he white?
Oh, bingo.
Shocker. Was he wearing a wife beater?
No, he wasn't, but he was a New York Giants shirt. I'll do what you will.
Okay, fair enough. Did he sound like he didn't have much of a vocabulary? Like he wasn't the brightest bulb in the bunch? Is that a fair assessment?
But with a certain amount of polish that had enabled him to succeed. But get this, he was, everything's so crazy. No, the Haitians eating the pets.
Oh,
I saw it on Twitter.
Oh.
No, it's real.
Oh.
And everything is so dismal. And he lives in Pacific Heights in San Francisco.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you know the problem, Brian, and I'll let you go, but they willingly participate in their own being grifted by the world's most well-known grifter, and they're now in so deep with their own foolishness that to admit they were wrong is not something that these dipshits can do.
That's the kind of guy.
Sir.
Thank you. That's the kind of guy that will blame Democrats for all the homeless issues throughout the country. But that's also the kind of guy without a job that'll spend his life savings to buy Donald Trump trading cards, Donald Trump gold sneakers, and Donald Trump Bibles. And then when he becomes homeless, he'll still blame liberals for his situation, and he'll blame Kamala Harris. Thank you so much for the call. I'm shocked he wasn't wearing a wife beater, and I'm shocked he didn't have a Confederate flag in the back of his car. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Joseph. Joseph is next up on PTL. What's up, Joseph?
Yeah, hey, Brian. All right, here's my piece. Hearing everything about Mark Robinson saying he's going to sue CNN makes me think he can try all he likes, but CNN's got everything, and I know he's not going to win this time. And also, also from the previous episodes of your show about those bomb threats, makes me think the reason why they want to continue these bomb threats is to continue to punish women for trying to get an abortion, and also punish children for going to school, and also punish teachers because they don't want teachers to teach what they're not supposed to teach, but they're going to have to, but they must. Not to mention, they don't like the fact that teachers don't want to be consumer trainees when it comes to carrying guns.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think when you talk to a lot of these MAGA Republicans out there, many of these MAGA Republicans want their teachers just to teach the 10 Commandments in school. They want to talk about God and Jesus, and they want to talk about religion. But the second a teacher tells a child it's okay to be gay, the second a teacher tells a child it's okay to be who you are, they have serious problems with that, but yet they want to force their religion down your throat. These are some of the most despicable, hypocritical people and dumbest people that America has to offer. I keep saying it over and over again because it's true. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Paul. Paul is next up on PTL. What's up, Paul?
How you doing, man?
Good.
You know, those Christians you're talking, I'm a Christian. Those people are actually Pharisees who are religious hypocrites because their only issue is freaking abortion and gay people. And I don't know why, but they've been indoctrinated by the church that somehow that is the one thing that they can't get past. I don't know what it is, but their hypocrisy is off the charts, man. I completely agree with you on that. You know, I can't still grab my head around the disrespect for women and how people, I have an aunt and my brother who has two daughters that are saying Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. How did she sleep her way to the top? I mean, I didn't have sex with her. Was I cheated, Brian? Like, Was I supposed to get a number and wait my turn? Is that because unless she had sex with every voter in the state of California, how did she sleep her way to the top exactly?
Yeah, well, I think all the people that have slept with Donald Trump have slept their way to the bottom. I will also,
they've done that.
It's so disgusting and despicable, because it'd be one thing if Kamala didn't have a college degree, if Kamala didn't work hard to pay her way through school. But when you look at this woman and you look at what she's accomplished in her life, and the fact that, by the way, she is in a loving relationship with her husband, and the kids, her stepchildren, have nothing but positive things to say about her. And then when you look at the other side of the coin and Donald Trump having 5 kids with 3 different women, Melania won't be seen anywhere near him. It really is mesmerizing. And I'm going to ask Don Lemon about that tomorrow, because, Don Lemon put out a tweet, and in the video, he kind of rolled his eyes playing a video of Melania saying how devastated she was that her husband was pierced in the ear. And then he took a lot of flack for that, and I don't think he did anything wrong. Let me be very clear on this, okay? Melania Trump is just as despicable as her husband. Why do I say that? Well, during January 6th, she cared more about the rugs in the White House and her tennis courts, and refused to put out any sort of statement, calling out the violence. How do we know that? Because Stephanie Grisham released those text messages. This is a woman who is a grifter, who gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to make speeches in front of the log cabin Republicans. If that's not a double entendre, I don't know what is. And she's selling these $90 Christmas ornaments, and she is a grifter. The entire Trump family are a bunch of grifters. Donald Trump's own daughter, Ivanka, and Jared Kushner, they don't want to be seen anywhere around this guy anymore. Not that I would defend them at all. But yet they want to say Melania slept her way to the top, which is absurd. And the only thing they can talk about is how allegedly she had a relationship with Willie Brown after he was divorced. So it's like, it is monumentally absurd. It's awful, right? It's monumentally absurd.
Let me ask you one thing, because I've been feeling this the last month, and maybe you agree. It feels like, especially, I don't watch a lot of CNN after they hosted Donald Trump on that town hall. I really got turned off by that. That really just displayed. It sure feels like when I listen to the news, and I don't think MSNBC is as bad. I don't watch it as much. But it sure feels like a lot of the news organizations are normalizing Trump. Like, every time he sits down, hey, you're a convicted felon and a sexual rapist.
Yeah.
They don't even bring it up anymore. They're like, oh, let's discuss this tax plan. We're like,
right.
It feels like they're just giving him a pass, but yet she's sleeping away.
You are so right.
They seem liable in this.
Yeah.
All of them seem to be part of the problem.
Paul, you're so right. They'll obsess over fracking, but yet they fail to continue to bring up the fact that he's a liable sexual abuser, a 34-count felon. This is a guy who's got 25 women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape, including his ex-wife, but they want to focus on fracking and drag queens. I mean, it's just,
But why do you think that? I know.
Well, I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why. But why do you think?
I'll tell you why.
For ratings?
I will tell you why. And when all these right-wing maggots out there say that the media is run by liberals, the liberal media, CNN is run by a Republican. Fox News is obviously run by Republicans. You have many publications that are run by Republicans. Conservative talk radio are run by conservatives and Republicans. The media is not controlled by liberals. It's just a false equivalency, and they're lying. It's just not. CNN is run by a Republican, and most of the media entities are not run by liberals. They're run by Republicans. OAN, Newsmax, you name it. So, Paul, that's the best answer I can give you, my friend. And I'm going to talk to Don Lemon about that tomorrow, because I am very disappointed in CNN and the way they handled that debate. I'm very disappointed in CNN because I don't think they have the pushback that they had, or at least as much, when Don Lemon was there. 702-221-7283. Thank you for the call, Paul. Let's go to Kathy. Kathy's next. What's up, Kathy?
Hey, Brian. I think your interview with Lev was fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so glad you had him on.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Lev's a good guy.
I watched it twice.
I like Lev a lot.
I've thought about if he had any interaction with the ambassador from Ukraine, the woman. That was horrible what happened to her.
Yeah, I agree.
But it didn't come out in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's what I do know. Lev is a man who's made his mistakes. but I believe he's a true patriot for coming forward and being honest and testifying in front of Congress and owning what he did and real remorse, right? This isn't a fake apology. This is a man who truly is really remorseful for what he did.
Absolutely.
He's
Yes,
paid for
great.
what he did. And you ask me, he's a hero now for coming forward. And I think, like I said, if Donald Trump loses in November, he's going to be one of many reasons, but he'll be one of the reasons why.
No, it was excellent. I really wish they would show it more on some major networks. That would be great.
All I can do is I can tell you I'll have Lev back on the show. I have his number, and he's a great guy, and he'll come back anytime. And I will always interview people like that. And I'm glad that you enjoyed the interview. That's why I do interviews like that. And I think Don Lemon tomorrow will be another good one. I have a lot of questions for him, and I appreciate your call, my dear. Thank you so much. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Rebecca. Rebecca's next up on PTL. What's going on, Rebecca?
Hi, Brian. I actually have a couple of statements.
Sure.
One about J.D. Vance.
Sure.
And one about Mark Robinson.
Okay. Yep.
J.D. Vance is actually attacking his own constituents, and this is not being said loud enough. He's causing at least the city of Springfield money and children to be in danger, and nobody's speaking about that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's attacking, they should be saying it out loud, because if he gets in the White House, if he attacks his own constituents, what is he going to do to the American people?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a good point.
Number two.
Yep, go ahead. Yep.
Mm-hmm. No, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of J.D. Vance, now that we've learned, and there's a law firm that I'm in contact with, they're filing a civil suit in Ohio. They're filing the suit against J.D. Vance and Donald Trump for their hateful, bigoted, and lies and rhetoric about the Haitian immigrants, and I hope they take them for every dollar. I really do.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, Brian. The Haitians were actually invited, and they're legal. You know, they're not illegals that just popped over here and let's get the jobs. Right.
You know, when it comes
Which
to
I don't think happens
when
anyway.
it comes to the Taliban, Donald Trump will invite the Taliban to Camp David. But when it comes to legal Haitian immigrants who haven't harmed a soul, he tells them to get the hell out. That is who the MAGA base are.
Right. Okay, as far as Mark Robinson and saying women need to keep their skirts down, there is no pregnancy ever recorded on the planet, except maybe one, where a pregnancy has not started with a penis.
That is absolutely true. For the most
So
part.
if it's Excuse me?
I would say for the most part, you're 100% correct, unless somebody artificial insemination, of course. But I understand where you're going with that.
Even that starts with a penis.
Well, you're right.
Even artificial.
You're right. You're right. I hear what you're saying. Listen, it is just as much of a man's responsibility as it is a woman's responsibility.
Agreed.
The only difference being is that is the woman's body that carries in the womb, and that's why it should be ultimately the woman's decision on whether she wants to have an abortion or not. I'm not saying a man, in the family doesn't have their opinion shouldn't be heard, but ultimately I would never take that right away from a woman, and that's why over 60% of Americans agree with us that a woman should have the right to choose.
Agreed.
And this idea that the babies are being executed after the pregnancy is a blatant lie. Donald Trump lies on the debate stage, and his base don't care. They just don't care.
Okay, so the late killing of the babies, Brian, if somebody studies it back, would actually point to the children who have had birth defects that are going to die within minutes to hours after they're born.
You are
and the only go ahead.
I was just saying, go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll respond. Go ahead.
I was going to say the only decisions that parents and doctors are making is how to make that baby more comfortable before they die, because they don't kill the baby. They allow nature to take its course, and it dies naturally.
Good call. You are 100% factually accurate when these MAGA morons say Democrats are okay with executing babies after they're born. Not only is it a lie, but you're right. There are situations that are horrible situations where the baby is deformed, or the baby probably won't make it a week, and the doctor says, we got to do this, and it's rare, but this does happen. What a horrible situation. And for Donald Trump to try to score political points off of that, to make it sound like they're executing these babies on purpose, it's so blatantly disgusting. And I guarantee you if there's another debate, which I don't think there will be because Donald Trump's a coward. Oh, it's too late now. Whatever happened to anytime, anywhere? Oh, but now it's too late. It's too late now because we have early voting. It makes absolutely no sense. The only thing that makes sense is he's a coward and he's scared to debate Kamala Harris again because she wiped the floor clean with him the first time. 702-221-7283, the number to call. Let's go to Tom. Tom is next up on PTL. What's going on, Tom?
Hi, this is Tom Fiebig from Rockford, Michigan, northeast of Grand Rapids. Totally agree with everything you're saying. Let me say this. I watched Donald Trump's rally yesterday, and I believe it was in Detroit, and we're on one side of the state, and he was on the other. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump stated that ISIS is honoring Obama as the founder of ISIS and Hillary Clinton as his co-founder, and he repeated it several different times.
Nonsense.
Now, this is kind of like eating the dogs and cats.
Right. It's absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense, and it's lies. And I'll take it a step further, my friend. One thing Obama never did was he never negotiated with terrorists. He made it a point. He promised the American people he never negotiated with terrorists in his entire 8 years in office. But I'll tell you somebody that did, a guy by the name of Donald Trump, also known as Cheeto Jesus, who has negotiated.
I agree.
He negotiated with the Taliban. It was said on a debate stage, and Kamala Harris was correct. He negotiated the release of 5,000 Taliban terrorists. Imagine the carnage that they have done since that release. But you see, Donald Trump won't focus on that. He won't focus on the over 60 soldiers in Afghanistan, American soldiers who died under his watch. Now, one soldier is one soldier too many. And it was a horrible situation when we lost 13 soldiers in that Afghan withdrawal. But if he cared so much about those 13 soldiers, which he doesn't, wouldn't he have brought up the soldiers that died under his watch? It's interesting. These MAGA Republicans, they don't bring up the soldiers that died under Donald Trump. They don't bring up the hundreds of thousands of people that died of fentanyl overdoses under Donald Trump's watch. They don't talk about the undocumented immigrants, the few of them, but the few undocumented immigrants that committed horrible crimes and murdered American citizens, because all those things did happen under the Trump administration. But they won't talk about that. They'll only talk about crimes that are committed under the Biden administration. Oh, yeah, by the way, violent crime way down over 30% across the country. They won't talk about any of those drug overdoses or those murders or anything bad that could have happened or did happen under the Donald Trump watch. But all of a sudden, they only care about it when it happens when a Democrat is the president of the United States, because so many of these people on the far right are disingenuous. They use people's lives and they use life and death, whether it be soldiers, you name it, to score political points. It's why Donald Trump at Arlington Cemetery did what he did in Section 60. Donald Trump didn't go to one funeral of one soldier that died under his watch. But now all of a sudden we are led to believe that he cares. Donald Trump didn't go to one funeral of one officer that died under his watch. But then he goes to an officer's funeral's wake in New York City under Joe Biden, and then holds a press conference to make it all about him after the wake. Because Donald Trump only cares about himself. These MAGA Republicans don't care about this country. They only care about Republicans in power. That is all they care about.
Why can't he be sued for slander or defamation character for what he just said yesterday?
Well, I can't speak to yesterday, but I will say this. I am in talks with a law firm. And a law firm out of Ohio, and we're going to get one of their representatives on this show, has officially filed a civil lawsuit against J.D. Vance and Donald Trump for their rhetoric that they have used with these legal Haitian migrants. So that's some good news, and we'll see what happens there. But I'm with you. Send them back. What a disgraceful chant. Get the hell out of here. I mean, these are just disgraceful people. And as much as I despise, I'm going to say this. Some of you might not believe what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. As much as I despise Donald Trump, I despise the man. I hate him. I hate his supporters even more, particularly the supporters specifically that were chanting yesterday, send them back. I hate you. I hate you all. I hate you all for spreading Donald Trump's bigotry and hatred. I hate you all for your ignorance. and your racism and your misogyny. I hate you for your stupidity in voting and supporting for this despicable human being. You all are a disgrace to this country, and you're an embarrassment, and I wish they would send all of you back. Go send them to Russia, a block away from Vladimir Putin. Let them stay there, for all I'm concerned. I hope they send you all back. That's where you all belong. You belong in Russia. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan is next up on PTL. Hey, Ryan, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good, man. What's on your mind today?
I just hear all this talk from the left, and it's just weird. Like, you guys keep describing women. Like, can you guys even define what a woman is?
Okay, so I'll answer that. Let's keep you on the phone. Okay, so first of all, I'm not the left, just to be factually accurate. I'm a registered independent who did not vote for Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote for Barack Obama, and I voted for 8 Republicans in the midterm. So when you say you guys on the left, are you referring to me or somebody else? Let's just start there, and then I'll answer your question.
I'm just referring to people who say biological males can be female.
Okay,
and vice
have
versa.
I said that? Have I ever said that?
Well,
No, not well. I'm asking you a question. Have I ever said that? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay, the answer is no. So you don't know, and you're just making an assumption about me. Okay, so
Okay,
I'll
well,
answer.
then can you
That's
define
okay.
what a woman is?
Yes, I will. Stay on the phone, and I will define it, even though it's a very stupid question. But I'll answer it
Why?
anyway. Why don't
Why?
you? Okay,
Why?
why don't you shut up and let me answer the question? Okay, buddy. Okay, I'm going to answer now. All right. I'll
Okay,
keep
go
you.
ahead.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. I personally believe that if you're born a man, you're a man, and if you're born a woman, you're a woman. However, unlike people like you who watch Matt Walsh all day, I don't care. If somebody wants to be called a woman, I'll be respectful and I'll call him a woman. If somebody wants to be called a man, I'll be respectful and I'll comment. You know why? Because it doesn't affect my life. So now I'm going to ask you a question since I answered your stupid question. How are these people affecting you in your life in a negative way?
Well, I have a daughter who plays sports.
Okay, so are you saying that there are biological men that are competing against your daughter on the playing field?
Yeah, actually, my niece.
Okay, so your niece does. Okay, so I asked you a specific question.
So you know what actually happened?
No. Hold on. The question wasn't about how it affects your niece. And by the way, I do believe that if you're born a man, you shouldn't be competing in women's sports. 90% of the country believe that. Okay, so that's not the left that you think believes that biological men should be competing with women. But I ask you a specific question, and this has nothing to do with your niece. How is it affecting you? Answer the question.
How is it affecting me?
Yeah. Do I have a stutter? Do I have to ask it again?
No. This is how it's affecting me.
You have a Joe Biden stutter. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. This is how it's affecting me.
Okay, I'm waiting.
If my daughter was raped, does it personally affect me?
Okay, first of all, what does rape have to do with transgenders? That wasn't the question, sir.
People are actually getting hurt.
Okay. So I'm asking you. I'm going to ask you now for a 5th time, and it has nothing to do with rape or your daughter or your niece. How is it negatively affecting you, transgenders? How is it affecting your?
Truth matters, man.
No.
Truth matters.
That's not the answer. Okay, the truth matters.
That's the answer.
Bottom down. It's a stupid answer because you can't answer the question. You asked me what's a man and what's a woman. I answered your question, honestly, but yet you won't answer my question. You start this conversation by assuming that I'm a lefty or a liberal because you disagree with me. And then I ask you a specific question on how transgenders are negatively affecting you. And your only response is, well, the truth matters. That's not an answer on how it negatively affects you. So I'm going to give you one more chance because clearly you don't know what you're talking about. But I'll ask it again, and I'll give you another. Excuse me, I'm talking now. Get the MAGA wax out of your ears. I'm talking now. I'm going to ask you the question again. And an answer of, well, I want the truth, man. So if the truth matters to you, who won the 2020 election?
Oh, deflect. There's another deflection.
Nope.
So
I answered. Excuse me. I answered your question directly. What are you talking about deflection? I answered your question. Now I'm asking you a question, dummy. Who won the 2020 election? Answer.
Deflect.
If you're not going to answer the question,
you're deflecting.
What am I deflecting
You're
from?
deflecting.
What did I not answer? What am I?
Because you're talking about Trump when I'm talking about biological males and
I
biological
answered.
women.
And did I not answer your question directly? Yes or no?
You said it.
Pod the dope down again, you MAGA buffoon. I answered your question directly. I said, I believe you're a man if you're born a man. I said, if you're a woman, you're born a woman. I answered your question directly, you stupid dope. Now answer mine. You said the truth matters. which is why I'm asking you this question. And I am not deflecting. I answered your question directly. Anybody with an IQ over 10, hey, shut up and let me ask my question. And if you're not going to answer it, I'm going to move on to the next call because, quite frankly, you're wasting my time, you MAGA buffoon, and you're wasting everybody else's time. I will ask you the question again, and it's a very simple question. And don't deflect, and don't talk about your niece, and don't give me a hypothetical. Who won the 2020 election, Trump or Biden? Answer the damn question.
Deflect, Baldy.
Okay, so you won't answer the question. I think we know who is the deflecting out. And by the way, I'm shocked that a MAGA moron who wants to attack transgenders is a guy that would insult me on appearance. I'm shocked that that guy would do that. I'm so shocked. I know what this guy looks like. I'm going to profile now. This guy has a long beard, who hasn't showered in 8 weeks and looks like an insurrectionist. That's what this guy looks like. He is your typical middle-aged, uneducated, white Donald Trump supporter who asked the stupid, dopey question that some MAGA Republicans ask, can you define what a woman is? Can you define what a man is? And then when I answer the question directly and honestly, he's not capable of answering one question. And then when I ask him, how are transgenders negatively affecting your life? Notice how he can't answer? Notice how the only answer he gives me is, I just want the truth. Meanwhile, this is the same clown who probably thinks Donald Trump won the 2020 election. This is the same clown who thinks that legal Haitian migrants are eating your pets in Springfield, Ohio. He laughs when he talks about these issues, and he's not a very serious person. Hey, sir, go ahead and vote for your... By the way, you're not on the air, dope. We're potting you down, you dope. You imbecile, you inbred MAGA. You're an inbred is what you are. She or he or whatever you are. You're an inbred. You can keep talking if you want to. You're an inbred is what you are. You're an uneducated, dopey, white Republican who's voting for a liable rapist and a 34-count felon. And of all the serious issues that we have in this country, whether it be abortion or the economy or immigration, the one question that you decide to ask me is, can you define what a woman is? Because you're a freaking idiot. That's why. You're not a serious person. You're, yeah, keep laughing with your Tucker Carlson feminine laugh. Keep laughing, you dope. Keep laughing, you dope. Keep laughing. Yeah, keep laughing with your Tucker Carlson laugh, you freaking idiot. Would you define what a woman is? Well, no, but I can define what an idiot is. It's you. Have a nice day, you dope. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Your typical Donald Trump supporter, ladies and gentlemen. Can you define what a woman is? No, I can define what an inbred idiot is. That's you. Can you tell me how transgenders are negatively affecting your life? I just want the truth. God, these people are so stupid. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Who are we going to next year? Let's go to Brent. Brent is next up on PTL. What's up, Brent?
Hey, man. God, I knew I'd get a MAGA caller. I was waiting for that.
It's always fun to destroy them. It's always a good time.
My God. Well, I live in Atlanta, and I got to tell you, I discovered you probably about a month ago on YouTube, and I have basically watched every one of your videos.
Oh, well, that means a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Unbelievable. They
Thank
really
you.
are.
Hey, guess what?
And
Brent, do you think I should? I appreciate that, by the way. I think I'm going to post that call to YouTube. I think I'm going to make that
you
guy
got to
a star.
do that one.
I'm going to make him a star.
Oh, yeah.
Can you define
Don't
what a
do
woman
that.
is?
You know what? My blood pressure, I'm 74 years old, and, I'm on blood pressure meds from hereditary, things, in my family. But Donald Trump, I don't know, he's going to kill me probably. I don't know why I let him get to me, but you can't help it. I don't understand these people. I never will. And, the thing about it, when Kamala Harris wins in November, he's going to continue to do this shit all the time.
Yeah, it's only
nothing's going to change, really.
I think you're right. I actually think it's going to get worse. Can you imagine what Donald Trump's Can you imagine what Donald Trump's administration would look like if he wins in November? You're going to have Stephen Miller. You're going to have Steve Bannon and Navarro. You're going to have Sebastian Gorka. You're going to have some of the craziest lunatics in this you thought 2016 was bad. This is going to be a bunch of mental patients.
No, it's frightening. And I have a plan in place for the rest, whatever life I have left. I'm moving to Portugal if he gets elected. I've already got that plan in place.
I can't say, well, my friend, I can't say I blame you. I appreciate you subscribing to my YouTube page. And as long as there's still people like you watching it, I'll keep putting up content every day. Who was that caller who called in, the last caller, the Klansman who called in? What was it? Ryan, I'm going to make you famous, my friend. You're going up on YouTube, and you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be listening to your stupidity. So thank you. 702-221-7283. Joyce is next. Hey, what's up, Joyce?
Okay. My question, my problem is with Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How can a Christian vote for Trump?
Well, because they're hypocrites. Because they're hypocrites. That's why. They're hypocrites.
If
Yeah.
you're a Christian,
Yeah.
you cannot put any words against the Holy Bible.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody who will write a religious book, rather pick from the Bible and write their own.
Yeah. Well, Joyce, let's be clear on this, Joyce. Let's be very clear. Donald Trump says it's his favorite book, and he can't, recite one passage from the Bible. He holds it upside down for photo ops. You're absolutely right. These Christians that support Donald Trump are nothing but hypocrites. That's what they are, and they hide behind their religion, Joyce. It is really good to hear from you. I got to get through some calls here because we're almost at the end of the show. I'm going to try to take as many as I can. Let's go to Jack. Jack is next. Hey, Jack, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how you making out, man? That was a fun call with the MAGA caller.
What should I title that call? What should I title it? I don't know.
What's a woman? I mean, it's just keep it simple.
The MAGA. Can you define a woman call that ends in disaster? Yeah, there you go.
I mean, but listen. I mean, it's a cult. All right, it's not hyperbole. It's a cult. That's it. Like they want to argue their points in the in the court of public opinion. They don't pay attention to court hearings and verdicts and juries and judges. They don't care about any of that. Like, and the similarities to that, and just when I think about it, like the Christian National kind of like forum where, I mean, the guy is like, he's like Kenneth Copeland, and there's no telling me that he didn't see Kenneth Copeland back in the day brainwash these people to sending them their last dollar so he can fly around and preach his word about his, the sky genie, and afford him a life of luxury when it's the complete opposite of what the Bible tells you what to do. And, he's flying around on 2 and 3 jets, and it's just the similarities between the MAGA cult with Trump and the Christians with, with televangelists.
You are correct.
No different.
You are so right with that analogy. I couldn't agree with you more. And many of these evangelicals on the far right, they look at Donald Trump as like the next Messiah. They look at Cheeto Jesus. They look at a guy who wakes up in the morning and puts on his 8 layers of orange makeup. He's been a phony his entire life. Now a convicted felon, a liable sexual abuser. But they want to recite the Bible and they want to talk about sinners, right? They think homosexuality is a sin. But yet they have no problem supporting Donald Trump, who is actually a felon and a rapist. I mean, my friend, they
use it to enforce their bigotry, like that.
Yes,
when
exactly.
When a Christian talks about someone that's gay, they don't want you to say, well, how are they bothering you or whatever. Right. They always refer back to their book. The book says. So then Jesus says. God says it's wrong.
It's exactly It's exactly
okay.
like the deflection with the guy who just called in a couple callers ago. I asked him how notice how he couldn't say anything about how it was affecting his life negatively, because it's not. He was probably lying about his niece, right? That was probably a lie.
Right.
And then when I ask him and challenge him, how is it negatively affecting you? He has no answers, and all he says is, I just want the truth. Yet this is the same bozo who probably thinks Trump won.
They get away with that. They get away with that line of questioning amongst themselves when they're in their vacuum.
Not on this show.
And they're asking each other.
Not on this show, my friend. Not on this show. Hey, it's good to hear from you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you. Really good call. Some excellent points. 702-221-7283. Margot's next. What's up, Margot?
Hi,
Hey,
Brian. Thank you so much for putting voice to what I've been feeling. How you were saying about how you hate them for what they're doing now. I'm not a hateful person, and I swear I love everybody. I give everybody the highest respect.
Yeah.
But you still want to follow this man who could say this about the Haitian people.
Yeah.
And destroy the lives of the people in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
To me, it's just ridiculous.
Sue them.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead and finish. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, okay, all right. I was going to say that I am so happy when I heard the news today that the Haitian Bridge Alliance brought a criminal charge against Vance and Trump.
Yes.
That made me feel so good.
Is it a criminal charge? Because I haven't heard it's a criminal charge. What I did hear is that there's a civil suit going.
No, I heard that in Ohio, their law, and I got this on the internet. I believe it was Axios.
Okay.
Said that they brought a criminal charge.
Good.
Against them.
I'm going to look into this, and I will discuss it tomorrow first thing if that is true. I'm going to investigate it.
That's what I wanted to ask you to do. And can you get in touch with the Haitian Bridge Alliance and maybe bring them on the show?
So I've already been in touch with a law firm there in Ohio. The firm, I think it's the Sandra law firm. I'm trying to remember the name. I spoke with one of their representatives today, and they confirmed that yes, they have officially filed a civil suit against J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. We're going to try to get one of them on. If there are any criminal charges, I will talk about it tomorrow. Thank you for the call, dear. Let's go to Howard. Howard's next. What's up, Howard?
Hey, Brian. How's it going?
Good.
I just had a few things I kind of wanted to run by you. You know, your last caller brought up something about what Trump and Vance may have said about the migrants in Springfield. And I think there might be an exception to where if someone is speaking in like an official capacity, I don't know if you can sue them civilly. I could be wrong. That's just me kind of thinking out loud here. What I really wanted to talk about was I think you owe it to yourself and your listeners to be honest. You're not an independent. You're not an independent.
Okay, sure. I'll respond to that. I'll respond to that. But that means you need to be quiet now, and I'll have a conversation with you.
I wasn't finished.
Okay, well, I don't care. I don't care. It's not your show. It's my show. So now I'm potting you down, pal. I've been a registered independent my whole life. I could care less what you think. I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and I voted for 8 Republicans in 2022. But you see, sir, I just don't have anything in common with you. So the fact that I am a registered independent, explain to me how I'm not being honest. Come again? Go ahead, pot him back up. Sir, how am I being dishonest? Can you just review?
Am I potted back up? Okay.
Yeah,
what
you are.
Saying, I never called you dishonest. I actually think you're very honest. I think
you said I should be honest. I should be honest with my listeners. That would be referencing, insinuating that I'm not being honest. I'm not a dope, sir. I know what you're saying. So I just gave you the facts. Okay. I just gave you the facts, right? I'm a registered independent, always have been my whole life, never been a Democrat. I lean to the left on social issues. In 2024, I have little to nothing in common with Republicans, but I did vote for 8 Republicans in the 2022 midterms, and I'm happy to say all of them are not MAGA Republicans. So explain to me again how I'm not being honest with my listeners.
So if you'll let me go, I think that it's crazy to say I hate the people that do not agree with me.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. Pot him down again. I didn't say I hate the people that don't agree with me. I said I hate the people like the people that were chanting, send them back. The MAGA supporters that are bigoted in nature. Sir, the problem with somebody like you is you don't listen. Can you please explain to me why you have so much MAGA wax in your ears that you don't listen to me? I have friends of mine that are Trump supporters. I didn't say I hate all Trump supporters. I said I hate the base of his supporters like the people that were chanting, send them back. Why is it you're not capable of listening, sir? Sir, I think you should be honest with yourself, sir. Sir, I don't think you're honest with yourself.
Let you talk over.
Sir, no, sir. Sir, I don't think you're honest with yourself, sir. I think you need to be honest with yourself. And when you hear something and your ears register it to your brain, I think you need to be honest with yourself, sir. So I hate people like you. People like you that are incapable of listening. People like you that make things up to fit your narrative. Have a nice day, sir. And as you said, I will now let you go. Bye. Anyway, I appreciate everybody for joining us. That last caller took a little bit too much of my time there. I appreciate all of you for tuning into the show. Hey, we got Don Lemon on the show tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm certainly looking forward to listening to what he has to say. A lot of different questions for him. He's got a new book out. Also, thanks to the official gaming bar of the PTL radio show, Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. I've mentioned it a couple times today. I was out there yesterday. Great food, great atmosphere. How can you guys support what I do? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Check out my new website, pushingthelimits.live, where you can see whether I'm an independent or not. In all seriousness, we sell great merchandise up there. Shirts, hats, beanies, you name it. We sell it in the shopping section at pushingthelimits.live. And we also allow you to donate. We're on the front page of pushingthelimits.live. There is a donate button. So my MAGA supporters can unload their money. If they're not unloading it already on Trump's campaign, you could do that with me on my page. Pushingthelimits.live. Check out the merchandise. You can donate up there. Doesn't matter what it is, $5, $10, $20. I appreciate all of you. For the most part, some great calls. Even my MAGA friends out there, please keep calling back. It's so much fun to destroy you every day on this show, and I'll keep doing it every day. Thank you to all the people out there all over the country listening in. You guys mean the most to me. YouTube at PTL Radio Show. Subscribe for free. X at PTL Radio Show. Thanks to Justin. We will see you tomorrow. Don Lemon joining us on the show. Have a great day, everybody.